we see an interest with WCW using the cross-brand to drive interest.
Cross-brand, that means that guys going back and forth to me.
Sounds like that to me, too, or building up to something, right?
Well, obviously they're building up to something. I mean, I think that would be... I don't want to say... There's many different ways of looking at it. I mean, you could do something right away and blow it off, or you could rebuild it, like steal guys back and forth, which actually I think would be the best way to do it, and then lead to a big program when you finally do the program. But that's best held off as long as you can.
Yeah, absolutely. No, you're absolutely
well,
right.
Especially, I mean, it's best held off until the brand WCW is strong enough to where it can go and feud with WWF and people would see it as competitive, which right now they shouldn't do it, and right now it's people wouldn't see it as competitive anyway.
Well, guys, I mean, who's going to be writing all this stuff? I mean, these WWF guys are strapped as it is. I think you see some of their stuff obviously works, some of their stuff doesn't. I mean, how are they going to be able to delegate this to rebuild?
Well, they're going to keep some of the office talent, I would think. It could be the Terry Taylor, Johnny Ace. I mean, I'm just throwing names out. I don't know.
I don't know either.
Or maybe they've got. Maybe they'll send some of the writers over.
Split some of their own crew.
Some of their own crew, yeah.
Well, I mean, we all admit that their crew is pretty overworked as it is.
Oh, well, everyone in wrestling at that level is overworked. Because if you work for Titan Sports, you're driven really, really hard. It's almost like you have to be to make it there. And I mean, the one thing
maybe it'd be something like you keep Johnny Ace and you take one of the writers they've got right now, and he would strictly be doing the WCW show, and just replace him with somebody else for the WWF crew.
One of the things that will be a positive is that the attitude in WCW was always, you kind of did your job, but you didn't go out of your way to do any more than you had to. And working in that company where everyone really works hard, I mean, it's just a super hard-working company, I think that attitude, as far as in the management and the production and that side of it, that will improve WCW.
Oh, I agree. I just wonder... It is such a Vince-driven product, the WWF, and the man is in Jim Ross's ear through the entire show, as we all know, and he's got such a hands-on approach to this. Can he assume a second promotion and treat it the same way, and you know what I mean, and have that same presence that he did, that he does in the WWF?
I think he will, and he has to.
Yeah.
The only thing.
And what if Vince jumped?
Ooh.
Well, it's a possibility too.
He would certainly be at least attempting to put this over as an A company.
Well, he has to put it over as an A company because if it's anything less than an A company, it can't make money.
Yeah.
A P company, he could make money with a B company in football. He's not going to make money with a B company in wrestling, which isn't as popular as football.
Right. These next few weeks for him are just going to be insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean...
They were going to be even without this, so you're right. Absolutely. Yeah. WrestleMania, this, winding down the XFL season, yeah. Oh, boy.
Winding down.
Yeah, I guess they got... their big challenge is going to apparently come March 31st. Is that correct? That's not this Saturday, but the Saturday after, when it's the Final Four. And they've got...
Oh, come on. I mean, their big challenge,
Well, they got to do something to avoid getting a 1. Right?
Yeah, well, they got to come up with an angle. You're right.
Yeah.
But when we talk about that, though, every angle they've done has resulted in lower ratings. Because people don't want... That audience doesn't want angles. That audience doesn't... It's just not that audience. That's the problem.
No, I agree.
But yeah, you're right. You're right. That March 31st, that is going to be so tough for them.
And it's the night before WrestleMania, so if they're ever going to do something where they bring in some wrestling stuff, that'll be the day.
It only makes sense. I mean, if you're going down in flames anyway, you may as well go down in flames promoting your wrestling.
Okay, that's the right thing. You send Rock and Austin there, but at the same time, everything that Vince has said, and granted, whatever that means.
Who cares at this point, though?
Yeah. No, but everything Vince has said is that we got to keep them, that the football audience doesn't want wrestling. But if he goes in there and does, that thing as a last-minute promo for WrestleMania, and I'm not even saying that's the wrong thing to do, because it's not. It is the right thing to do, but, boy, whatever.
I hear you. Linda was asked about an all-wrestling cable channel now that they have all this footage. She said it's not something in the immediate future, but it's something that they could look at down the road. I asked Stewart about the timetable of the deal. Said it was approximately 3 to 3.5 weeks ago they re-engaged in the conversation. Said the first time that they spoke, the big things holding up the deal was the fact of the exclusivity of the Viacom contract that would have prevented the WWF from appearing on on Turner programming.
Sure.
And the second thing was just the economics of the deal made no sense to them at the time. So that's why they backed out. And at that point,
the purchase price obviously is much lower now than it was a few months ago.
Oh, it's got to be. I mean, at this point, Time Warner just wanted to get rid of it. It was obvious. I mean, they just, talking to some of the executives there on the non-wrestling side, they just grew tired of all the headaches that were involved in professional wrestling. I mean, it wasn't producing the ratings. The people were very difficult to deal with. It had become a complete headache, an embarrassment with the lawsuits, and quite frankly, it was just losing way too much money, as you both have written about. So, that's it.
Yeah.
So
that's basically everything that was covered?
Yeah, that was everything that's covered. I'll put up a transcript at WrestlingObserver.com. Hopefully within an hour. I have to write for a news service right now to get the wire story out. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'm going to let you guys go.
Okay, Alex, thank you very much.
Thanks, guys. No problem. Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye. All right, let's start going to phone calls. Sean, you're up now.
Hey, guys.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, this is all the work, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all work.
Hey, I heard you.
I wish the next time they do a work, I hope they would they'll let me sleep though during the week.
Hey, I was wondering, as far as the TV shows go, like if they do get on TNT or whatever, how many do you know? Is there going to be two or is there going to be one show? I mean, is that even...
WCW, they're only going to get one show, that's for sure.
Okay. And, as far as, like, Steiner goes, you said that, they're not too hot on Steiner. Obviously, all the main eventers are, like, damaged goods, but I think out of all of them, I think that he's, like, the one that's not. I think the fans still look at him as, like, you know what I'm saying?
It's not so much the TV stuff, it's the off-TV.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that they're really adamant about two things, and they got to be. Okay, I mean, there's guys there. I mean, I've talked to people in that company about this. We talk about, say, just as this is the name I'm throwing out is O'Hare because it's the name everybody knows. These guy with potential, and I think that the feeling in WWF is that a guy like Sean O'Hare, because of who his role models have been in wrestling, as far as who the main eventers are in the company and what you learn from, has gotten a terrible upbringing as far as how you act as a wrestler in and out of the ring. And I think that they do not want that element in their company because they don't have it on the WWF side. They would get rid of it. And I think all of those guys that are negative dressing room influences or what they perceive as negative dressing room influences, they will not touch. And it has nothing to do with whether they're marketable or not. Their feeling is they can make stars, and if they need to send someone over and cross over, they can. They need. If you don't want to, and I think that Scott Steiner more than once on live television went into business for himself, and it's the kind of a guy that they just don't want around because if he does it a third time, great, they can fire him, but they don't want it on their TV.
What does this do for Rob Van Dam?
Nothing.
I mean, is this pretty much like X him out of North America or what?
If he humbles himself and asks for a job, I don't know that they'd be 100% against putting him in the WCW side. But as far as going in there with any leverage whatsoever, he's got zero. As far as going in there without it makes it much, much tougher on him. I mean, there's so many guys. Every guy who we're talking about on the outside kind of waiting. Jerry Lawler. Those kind of guys, boy, this is a real bad thing for them.
What is Rob's relationship with Paul? Is it good or?
Personally, with Paul, it's very good.
Okay,
yeah.
And what about like Sheldon Benjamin and all those guys? I mean, are we going to see them on television now or?
Hopefully not, because they're not ready. And I think WWF's smart enough to know not to rush those guys onto national television. Wait until they're ready. And I mean, it probably gives more spots for a guy like that. They could start him in a WCW as opposed to a WWF if need be, when he's ready. I think that probably Scott Vick and some of those guys may wind up on that WCW side because they've been Scott Vick, Steve Bradley. They've been wanting to bring them in. It's just that WWF roster's been all full. So, those guys may have an opportunity to get on that side. I'm just speculating. I don't know any of this. No one's said anything to me about that much.
Hey, what do you think about at WrestleMania, the Vince Shane, whoever, some stipulation, loser has to leave WWF?
Loser gets the other company would not work.
All right, guys. Well, hey, Brian.
Yeah.
Last week's Figure 4, quality. The part about Benoit when he missed the spot. You almost killed me, man.
Thanks, man.
And hey, good job, guys. And hey, the new player totally sucks. But have a good week.
Actually, Al, tell him what the deal is on that, because we've gotten a couple of emails about that, and there's ways to do it that it actually works just as well, right?
Yeah,
What's the story, Al?
If basically, and I know I'm going to get inundated with about 100 emails. Send me an email, or your email address, actually, to alg@eata.com. What I'll do is I'll send you a thing that'll allow you to... I know, I'm going to get 8,000 emails, but whatever. I will send you a thing that'll allow you to adjust your player so that you can hear it a little bit better. If you're using AOL, the biggest problem with AOL is its bandwidth, especially now because we're in prime time, or even during archive stuff. There's a lot of people trying to get on AOL. You're going to have problems with it. Use the real audio player for now. If the Windows Media Player is not working, you can download it for free at IATA. There's a clickable link. You go to the real page, and you'll be able to download it for yourself. So that's the best I can do right now, and I can send you out a little thing that tells you how to adjust your player preferences and stuff. Jeff Merrick we have on the line, and Tom Zenk called me a few moments ago. He'd like to come on as well. I'm going to call him right now.
Okay.
Well, what a show.
What a show we're having tonight. Jeff, how are you?
Dave, hey, Brian.